Welcome to Phillip Island, Victoria in Australia. What a setting we have for this great sporting contest, the Little Penguin Sea to Dune race. Nervous moments always as they gather on the beach, the tension mounting, and away they go. There's the defending champion, wearing his familiar navy blue and white, great waddling style. Another pre-race favourite though, losing touch with the pack. Maybe that's why. A few too many fish in the day's feeding. There's a familiar face, Skip McIntyre, 8 times a champion back in the 90s, a very successful coach now, keeping a keen eye on proceedings. This the leading group, one or two still able to put on a show for the camera, others just ploughing straight over it. Some resorting to shortcuts. Sad that cheating has crept into this beautiful sport. The judges will have a look at that. But up at the front, the pace is relentless, closing in on those sand dunes that will offer a bed for the night. The fatigue starting to tell. Who's got the finishing kick up on the outside? What a turn of pace from that one, whichever one it is. No answer from the rest, and he takes victory. What a win. There we are, into the Burrow, building an extension with his winnings, and back tomorrow to try and defend his title here on Phillip Island.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another night of live Penguin TV. My name is Jordan, I am your host tonight, and together this evening we are going to be watching the smallest species of penguin, the little penguin, the only penguin in the world with blue feathers, cross the beach and make their way back home to their homes here on Phillip Island in Victoria, Australia. Now, we have one little feathered friend who is hanging out just here, right in amongst the kind of shallows of these waves. It's missed the boat there. You can see him just kind of hanging out in those waves there. We actually already have had a start to our penguin count this evening. We have had a small group of penguins, or a small waddle of penguins, already starting to make their way across the beach, but it looks like this guy missed the bus a little bit, and crossing the beach at the end of the day is the scariest time of day for these little penguins. So I wonder if this penguin is thinking, I might want to wait for some more friends to make their way home before I start crossing the beach all by myself. Because there's safety in numbers. When they cross the beach, they are highly visible to aerial predators, swamp harriers, sea eagles, Pacific gulls. So if they're in a bigger number, they feel a little bit safer so that they can do that little dangerous dash across the beach. Now, as I said, my name is Jordan. Think Michael Jordan, the basketballer, or Jordan the country. And tonight I am also joined by the lovely Sue.
Hello, everyone.
Sue, let us know what you're going to be doing tonight.
I'm going to be looking through some of your questions, and we'll have a go at answering some of them as well.
Not too tricky questions, please, Sue.
Definitely not too tricky questions.
That's a lie.
Jordan is very clever and she can answer them anyway.
Stop.
Also, have a little think about how many penguins you think came in last night. Perhaps pop it in the comments, and then we'll let you know soon.
We'll give a bit of a drum roll and we will let you know how many penguins. If you have a look above me, we've got that first little group that was hanging out and crossing the beach just earlier. So every single night here at the Penguin Parade, we are counting penguins, and we've been doing that nearly every single night since 1968. It's part of one of the longest running penguin surveys in the world. So we have data going back many, many decades, and it helps us determine, at certain times of the year, is there more, is there less penguins crossing the beach? Because these little birds can spend anywhere from a couple of days to a couple of weeks out in the ocean. So they are, the ocean is their supermarket, it's their playground, it's, that's where they get their food from. As soon as they come on land, they're not eating anything. So they only eat seafood. So effectively when they come onto land, they're on a diet or they're fasting. So what we're waiting for at the moment is for the penguins to decide that it's safe enough to start crossing the beach, because out in the ocean, they're actually really, really well camouflaged against the surface of the water, because as I mentioned, they're the only penguins in the world with blue feathers on their back. So they're actually a navy blue feather rather than the black and white of the other species. So because these penguins are so small, even though they are mighty little creatures, they're not very good at defending themselves against those big, scary, predatory birds that might be flying around during the day. So if they can blend in with the surface of the water, they know that they're like invisible ninjas out in the ocean, so they can't be spotted by those aerial birds. So what they're waiting for is for it to get dark enough that they think, yep, we reckon all those predatory birds have returned to their nest tonight, because those birds require light and their eyesight to see their prey. And the penguins know that if they cross the beach after sunset, they're not going to get swooped down on by any predatory birds. So I'm just scanning the water's edge at the moment. It's kind of getting dark enough for the penguins to start thinking about crossing the beach. But I reckon that first waddle, or that first group of penguins that we had, was feeling very brave, and that's why they were able to come home and be the first group a little early. So I think we had an official start at 5:59, Sue told me tonight, 1 minute before we went live. And now the penguins will be out in the, speak of the devils, hello. Oh, we have a nice big raft over here. So a group of penguins out at sea is called a raft. And we can see that is a nice, decent sized raft coming in. And we're going to be counting these penguins for 50 minutes every single night. And Tom is our penguin counter this evening, and if he's not too busy counting penguins, he might be generous enough to let us know how many penguins are in each group. So before I ask everyone in the comments to guess how many penguins they think are in this raft, Sue, do we have many guesses for our penguin lotto tonight?
We've had quite a few guesses.
Very good.
Beverly, 455. Carmel suggested 528.
Ooh.
We've had, up to 800. They're pretty good guesses.
I think we might have some regular waddle watchers in this group.
I think so.
Getting to know how many, exactly how many are crossing the beach, because it's fairly similar every night. So Sue, are you ready to give us the final number?
Certainly am.
Ready for a drum roll, everybody?
And the number for last night was 526.
526 penguins crossed the beach last night, and I think it was a fairly similar number the night before. We normally get similar numbers night after night crossing the beach, but it's never exactly the same penguins, because these ones are, has there been a bit of a disturbance? Some of the ones at the back have kind of run back into the ocean. Can we zoom out a little bit and see, is there maybe a scary goose or something nearby? And I've just heard from Sue that I think we might have a number for the number of penguins in this group. Do we want to give everyone a chance to guess how many were in this waddle?
We can do that.
All right, get your guesses in. I know we're asking you about lots of penguin number guesses tonight, but if you would like to have a guess as to how many penguins you thought were in this group that we are watching right now, let us know in the comments, and Sue will be keeping an eye out to see who guesses nice and close. So welcome home, everybody. Now, I mentioned a little bit earlier that the penguins, when they're out in the ocean, they're getting ready to come home. They want to have lots of friends and lots of penguins with them, because there is safety in numbers. If there is a predator around, if you're the only penguin on the beach, you're probably more vulnerable than if you are in a nice big group. So the way that they are able to make sure that they're collectively coming in every single night is to, you can see some kind of in the in the ocean back there, but they aren't too keen to join this group, even though we do have a nice high tide. So they have to be able to have a communication system so that they know how where other penguins are out in the water. So you've probably seen this in the comments if you're brand new to Live Penguin TV. You've probably seen a lot of people in the comments typing huck huck, because that is the sound the penguins make out in the ocean when they're saying, is it dark enough? Can we cross the beach yet? What do we think? It's kind of a location call out. So Sue, you're going to have to help me here. It sounds a bit like huck 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 huck. There we go. We've got a couple of penguins in the room. Aren't we lucky? So that's what these penguins, these are the sounds the penguins would be making out in the ocean. And it can take up to 3 hours for all of the penguins to cross the beach. But most of them come up in the first 50 minutes, which is how long we count them for. So if you're desperate to know how many penguins cross the beach tonight, we're not going to be able to find out on the stream tonight, even though I would love to keep talking to you all night when we get our... Oh, what's going on there? We've got some penguins racing back. Oh no. Are we cool? Something's frightened them. They're a little bit on edge, the penguins tonight, aren't they? Oh, and it looks like we have a lovely, cute little baby here as well. Hello, hope you're enjoying the penguins. So let's have a look maybe out here. And Sue, do you mind, could you just ask the Penguins Plus person to get that person to sit down for me? Because they're blocking our penguins. And what are these penguins doing just here? They're not going up the regular track. They are bush bashing through the vegetation. So there's something that's they're a little bit wary of by the looks of... Oh, and here we go. I have found the culprit to why these penguins are taking a slight detour to get back home tonight. Now here we have the Cape Barren goose. So it's a type of goose species that we have here on Phillip Island. And as you can see, it's busy munching away on the lush green vegetation here. And they are herbivores, so they only eat grass, berries, leaves and things like that. But you can imagine to a little penguin like one of these ones, it's only a foot tall. Oh, this one's sneaking up on it. Are you going to be really brave? Oh. Come on, Goosey. You are literally right in one of the penguin... you can see there's some kind of in the top right hand corner behind the Penguin Highway screen. They have made their way all the way around it. So even though these geese won't actually harm the penguins, that one looks like it's gonna bite the goose's tail feather. It's Goosegate, what are we up to, 4.0 all over again. And I know that the water watchers or you guys in the comments, you've been trying to name the geese. I would love to hear some... Oh, it looks like it's starting to rain now as well. I would love to hear some of your ideas to name the geese that we have that are hanging around this Penguins Plus area. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. The goose isn't going to eat the penguins, but they are very protective parents. So if this goose has goslings or eggs nearby or its partner nearby, they might be a little... pick on the penguins just a little bit. And the penguins, because they are always heading back to the same area of the colony at night, oh gosh, look at that rain. I'm glad we aren't those people out there. They always take the same pathway home, and the penguins do tend to struggle a little bit trying to work out any detours, but it looks like we do have some smarty penguins out which are kind of going around, and I don't blame you. Now, I've been talking for a little bit, Sue. I think I did ask a little bit earlier if for some guesses for the first group that we saw crossing. So do we have any close guesses? And tell us what is the... Oh, hello, everybody. Sorry, getting distracted again.
I think the closest guess was about 100.
Very good.
But there was a whopping 210.
What? 210 penguins. Poor Tom. That is a lot of penguins to count from 100 meters away down the beach in the dark with only a pair of binoculars to help him. So send all your love and all your best wishes to Tom. He's going to need it tonight. And it does make, I don't know about you, Sue, but when you're counting penguins, the rain can make it a little bit trickier.
It can. Yeah, the rain falls on the window in the skybox.
Yes.
Makes a bit harder to count, definitely.
So Sue is a seasoned penguin counter as well. She's counted many a penguin, well and truly in the thousands, I would say, for all the penguins that you've counted crossing the beach. So if Sue says it's hard, then it's definitely going to be hard. But we had some, you said it was 100 was the...
Yes, that was about one of the closest.
It can be deceiving, can't it? So sometimes, because there are so many penguins, for example, in this little waddle that's crossed the beach, we might miss a couple or accidentally count a penguin or two twice. We're not looking for an exact number every single night because we want to try and get the closest educated guess that we can, because I'm sure there will be some fabulous technology that we could use to know exactly how many penguins cross the beach. But sometimes our penguin counters are tested and we're always within about 10% accuracy, and that's not enough to skew the results of the data and comparing it to year after year. And if we did start counting penguins in a different method, the previous 50 years of counting penguins, all that data wouldn't be usable anymore. So because we've been counting penguins so long, we can see the different trends in the colony. Are they coming back more at certain times of the year? Is there less? Why might this be? And it can give us a good indication of what's happening in the colony out to sea by counting these penguins every single night. Which reminds me, I was just chatting to Sue before we went live tonight, and I've got a little bit of my paper of things that I wanted to address on the live stream tonight. But what I would like from everybody tonight, and I have to let all our rangers know as well, some of you may remember Paula, who is a research technical officer here at the Penguin Parade. So it is her job to go out and do the field work with the penguins and see what is going on out in the colony. Sorry, did I just see? We've got another waddle of penguins starting to cross the beach. Hello, everybody. Where are those penguins? Looks like we've kind of split into a couple of different groups. So what Paula asked me to ask all of you waddle watchers out there and for our rangers to let her know is that she wants to know if there are any shell gritters that can be seen. Now, if this is your first time watching live Penguin TV, you might be thinking, what's a shell gritter? It's a very, very good question. What a shell gritter is a female penguin with eggs inside her. And in the last 4 to 5 days of egg development, that's when the eggshell is formed on the outside of the eggs. And what female penguins do if they've been on land during the day, when it gets dark, they actually head down to the beach to look for little bits of rock and seashells as like a little bit of a calcium supplement, because the female penguins strip the calcium from their bones to make their eggshells nice and strong. And the way that you can identify a shell gritter is she's pretty much going the opposite way of all the other penguins. So as we can see, the majority of these penguins that we're watching tonight are coming from the ocean onto land. But if you see any penguins above on the Penguin Highway just here going the other way, please let us know in the comments, because Paula isn't quite sure if the breeding season has kind of kicked off early or if they're kind of in their honeymoon period at the moment. So a couple of weeks ago, there were a few nests with little chicks, so yeah, some eggs and some chicks that hatched. And I was going to say I might wait till we have a bigger group to switch over to the Penguin Highway so I can concentrate on this very important information that I want to get out. Yeah, so there were some eggs in the colony. There's been a little bit of love in the air, but it's started to go a little bit quiet in the colony at the moment. So Paula's not sure if the majority of penguins have decided, you know what, it's actually not quite breeding season or good breeding conditions just yet. Or the penguins could potentially be on their honeymoon phase, which is when after they've got eggs inside them, what's going on here? There's a disturbance in the pool, and I bet that is our goose friend. Or maybe not. Where's the goose? Did they just get a fright of something random? Although there's penguins absolutely everywhere. The goose is definitely still there. You're literally right where the penguins want to go. Oh gosh, I get so distracted. Right, let's maybe jump back to the beach. So when mama penguins have fertilized eggs inside them. Both mum and dad have a couple of days or a couple of weeks out in the ocean separately that they call their honeymoon period. And so because there's not too many penguins at home in their burrows in our research study sites at the moment, Paula isn't sure if they've gone, nah, not good for breeding at the moment, or if they're on their honeymoon phase, which may mean in the next 2 or so weeks, there could be eggs everywhere in the colony. So if you see any penguins going the wrong way tonight, please let us know in the comments. We want to know if you see any shell gritters. And because I'm so busy chatting away with what I'm seeing, it can be very easy to miss things now and then. And Sue is busy looking at the comments, so she might miss them as well. But you guys, we know how observant you are, so we would love to put that to the test as well. I'm good. I'm glad. It was bugging me so bad. It wasn't on my list, and I'm like, I needed to tell the Water Watchers something. I can't remember what it was. Oh. And these penguins are definitely feeling a little bit nervous. And even though the ones that we're seeing just here aren't super close to the geese right now, I think it's probably a flow-on effect. There's probably some penguins a little bit further up the hill that are getting a little bit nervous, and it's kind of setting off a chain reaction of nervousness in these little penguins over here. Now, I've just realised that I've been talking going on 19 minutes now. And one of the things that we try to do at the start of our live streams, which when there are penguins coming in straight away, it can be a little bit tricky to fit it in, but I wanted to just do my acknowledgement of country. So here on Phillip Island, we are on the lands of the Bunurong, who are the traditional custodians of this land. And our records show that they have been living here with the penguins and all of the animals here on Phillip Island on Malau very, very sustainably for many thousands of years. So we'd like to acknowledge the way in which the Bunurong have cared for this country so beautifully for such a long time. And we are so lucky that we still we have a really strong partnership with the Bunurong Land Council and including Indigenous land practices in our conservation, education and research here on Phillip Island. So we like to pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. And I know there's a few of you every single night who are just absolutely so lovely and you're champions at this, but thank you for letting us know in advance if you know who the traditional custodians are of the land that you're joining from, and if you know what the lands that you're on are called in the traditional language as well. And I think Sue actually had something to add to that as well.
I did. So I just wanted to let everyone know that today is National Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Children's Day. And this year's theme is Proud in Culture, Strong in Spirit. So today and every day, we'd like to celebrate the strength and culture of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children and to give them the confidence and make them feel special, seen and included.
That's so lovely. Thank you for that, Sue. It's wonderful. There's just so much growing awareness about our Indigenous communities and things like that. So again, thank you so much for everybody who's being really supportive and being really respectful of the traditional lands and the traditional people that you're joining from today as well. Now, it looks like we have a few friends here on the resting rocks. You would have seen that as the penguins were crossing the beach tonight, they some of them just power on through. You know, they've got things to do when they get home. They might have to do some burrow maintenance. They might be thinking about mating or breeding and doing some territorial displaying behavior, doing some courtship. So it's a very fun, interesting time here at the Penguin Parade, and it looks like these guys are getting caught in Penguin Peak Hour traffic here. Looks like we've had another little raft make their way into a wattle and back on land. It'll be interesting to see if these penguins decide to hang out for a little bit on these rocks or if they're going to get bowled over and encouraged on through. Now, again, it's now been 21 minutes of me talking, and Sue did say earlier that she is going to be monitoring the comments on Facebook and YouTube, picking out a few questions from all of you keen penguin enthusiasts out there. So, Sue, do we have many penguin questions?
Adrian would like to know how many eggs can penguins lay at a time?
Ooh, how many eggs can penguins lay at a time, Adrian? So, good question. They actually lay 2 eggs. So typically in a breeding season, they'll lay 1 egg And then 24 hours later, they will lay a second egg, and then mum and dad will be sitting on those eggs. They do take it in turns, incubating the eggs and sitting on the chicks and keeping them warm when they are newly hatched, and also bringing back food for their hungry little chickies as well. But sometimes if the penguin parents start early enough, they can raise those chicks. It only takes about 7 to 11 weeks for penguin chicks to be fully fledged and head out into the ocean to be a fully grown and independent adult penguin. But if they do start that process early enough, if there's still plenty of food around, if the conditions for breeding is still good, then they might be lucky enough to have a second clutch, which is what we saw last year, which was really great. So while they'll only ever lay 2 eggs at a time, they can have up to 4 chicks in a season as well, which is pretty cool. And they might even be able to have, I haven't jumped over to the Penguin Highway just yet. Let's have a look at these guys just now. Hello everybody, good to see you. Welcome home. Although it looks like you've got a little bit of a puddle there, everybody, and you can see all their cute little footprints there, and you can actually see how nice and blue their feathers are on this from this angle as well. But yeah, so while they can have 2 clutches during the breeding season, which can be anywhere from, I guess, now-ish until, February or March if they're really pushing it, they, let's maybe jump back to the main screen now. We'll see what's going on. I don't think our goose is there. They might, after they go through their annual catastrophic molt, they might, be feeling really beautiful. They've got a brand new set of feathers because they lose and replace their feathers every single year, these penguins. And look at these guys. I think the goose is gone. So if the conditions are still good after they've gone through their annual molt, sometimes they go through an autumn breeding attempt, or an autumn breed, which we did have a couple of years ago. So if it's a really good breeding season and good conditions for the autumn breed, they might have up to 6 chicks in a certain year in a breeding cycle. So pretty competent, these little penguins they are. And look at these guys heading on up the hill. So that was my very long-winded answer, Adrian, of saying they lay 2 eggs at a time, but if their conditions are good, they could have up to 6 within a 12-month period. Happy with that answer, Sue?
Sounds very good, Jordan.
Excellent,
as usual.
Oh, stop it. Let's jump back to the beach. I can see lots of penguins heading up the Penguin Highway just over here, but it also looks like we've got a few more at the water's edge and also hanging around on the resting rocks as well. So it looks like it's a busy night here at the Penguin Parade. So poor Tom, who's very, very busy trying to count all of these penguins crossing the beach. And yes, you can see the penguins, they don't mind too much. Why are those penguins crossing the beach all the way over there? They must have washed up in a weird spot, but I reckon they're making their way back around to head up these rocks over here at Penguins Plus. Oh, now that reminds me, so I mentioned one thing that was on my list to tell all of you Wattle Watchers tonight, but I just wanted to give a shout out to Adam Hayes because he came up with a really fun idea the other day, and I would love to hear some of your ideas and suggestions in the comments to kind of penguinify some movie titles, some TV show titles or songs or different places with something related to a penguin. So I think one of them was Huckingham Palace because penguins say huck, huck, huck. I think there was Forest Huck. So like Forrest Gump, but Forest Huck. So I would love to hear in the comments if you've got any funny, punny, penguin-related movie, TV, song titles. And yeah, let us know in the comments, and Sue will be keeping an eye out to see if there's any worthy ones that we will be able to air live on Penguin TV and give you guys a little bit of a shout out as well. So welcome home, guys. You are not fazed by the rain whatsoever. They spend all day out in the ocean, so a little bit of rain when they come home, it's probably like they're not even leaving the ocean. So you can see every now and then they'll just stop and have a little bit of a shake, And they've actually got a little kind of almost like a desalination plant in their nose. So if you kind of see them flicking their head a little bit, that's actually the penguins kind of flicking out some kind of salty sludge from their nostrils, because they can actually drink seawater and they're able to excrete the salt from themselves and flick it out of their nose. But they also might just be having a little bit of a shake to de-stress as well. Lots of different body language for these penguins here tonight. But I think we've lost our goose friend. I'm so impressed with these people who are dealing with the cold, harsh winter conditions here at the Penguin Parade. Oh, it looks like we've got a few more friends up above our head as well. Now, Sue, I think I've nearly been talking for 30 or so minutes, which means technically it's almost time for us to wrap up.
Alrighty. So we've all heard of Let's Stick Together.
Oh no. What is it?
Kritika, and please forgive me if I didn't pronounce your name correctly, suggests let's huck together.
I love it. It's almost a bit naughty, isn't it? Let's huck together.
Come on,
let's huck together. We are such dags. I love it. Keep the punniness coming. Even though we know that Ranger Stephen is the king of dad jokes, I'm happy to dish out the crown to anyone else in the comments who thinks of some groan-worthy song titles like that. Absolutely love it. So keep an eye out. Sue, have you found any more good ones?
I found another one.
Oh, great. Let's go.
Penguins of the Caribbean.
Ooh. Penguins of the Caribbean. There's the Black Pearl. I can't think of any. I can't remember any of the other titles, but and the Blue Pearl, because they're blue penguins, maybe.
Yeah.
And the Blue Shell, maybe for the shell gritters. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here. We'll keep an eye out for those, because I think we've got a couple of minutes left of the stream tonight, everybody, and then we'll have to sign off for the night. I remember seeing in the comments a little while ago that you wouldn't mind if we kind of just left the room but kept the cameras rolling. Unfortunately, we do. We've got another raft of penguins, or another waddle of. Oh, there's a few of you in there coming in just now. Because we do turn the lights off for these penguins at the same time every night, so that they know it's natural and normal for humans to be here and for the lights to be on. We do have wildlife friendly lights here at the Penguin Parade, so the penguins can kind of see that there's some light source, but it's not as clear as what we can see, because there's a red filter on them, and penguins don't see very well in the red colour spectrum. So before I chat on too much more, Sue, do we have any more questions or any bad
what
jokes?
Have we got? Bad jokes? Haven't got a bad joke.
Haven't got a bad joke? Or bad movie titles? You know the drill.
What have we got? Penguin Bond.
Penguin Bond?
Bond. Penguin Bond.
Love it. Well, I mean, they're already wearing like the tuxedo, so they're already looking the part. Very, very good. You guys will have to keep thinking, and I think Stephen might be hosting live Penguin TV tomorrow night, and I'm sure he would love to hear some of your ideas as well. Now, these penguins are so lucky tonight. Every single night, I think so far, we've been able to see the penguins kind of swimming in this little puddle or in this little pond. The penguins are much better at swimming than when they are at waddling. They're much more efficient swimming out in the ocean. So I think the penguins are very glad that we've been having some kind of horrible weather. Well, horrible for us, probably not so horrible for them. Let's maybe pan out to the beach one last time, although it doesn't really look like there's too much out there, and I think the quality. Let's jump to our highway camera once more, because you can see some penguins making their way up the Penguin Highway. Welcome home, everybody. We've got some nice full tummies here, and we've got some more coming around the corner. Because the camera on the main camera that's now above us here, it's open to the elements, so it might be getting a little bit trickier to see just there, but we've still got some good eyes on the penguins here on the Penguin Highway, so we can follow them as they make their way home as well. So it looks like one penguin's going off-road. It's a four-wheel drive penguin. All right, any last penguins or any last penguinified? things. I don't know what I'm saying.
Question?
Penguin question. Let's go for a penguin question.
Okay. Why are the penguins just standing there when they're standing just on the rocks?
Why are they standing there?
Why are they just standing there?
Well, it's not really applicable. Oh, actually, no, it is applicable right now because I was going to say they're zooming up the highway, but you can see that we've actually... They've stopped. Oh no, now they've started again. They must have been listening to me and go, haha, we're going to mess with you, Jordan, haha. Oh, and I reckon I might jump back to our main screen. Hold on, because I just saw some penguins crossing the beach over here. And my goodness me, look at that rain. That is intense. So when the penguins are out in the ocean, they're typically out there foraging by themselves or in smaller groups. So when they do come home at night, that's their chance to socialize, to get to know each other, to preen themselves. They want to make sure their feathers are all interlocking and aligned because it can be quite uncomfortable for penguins if their feathers are a bit ruffled. And they also want to kind of re-waterproof themselves with a little oil gland they have under their tail. Now, they can't waterproof their head very well with their own beak. You can imagine if you've got a very pointy beak, you can't do the top of your head or around, your eyes or anything like that. So they do have to get some help from other penguins as well. So sometimes they might be socializing a little bit. Sometimes they might just be taking a little bit of a break. Some of these penguins, might have been out in the ocean for a few days or a few weeks. So they've been out there for a long time. They've been working very, very hard. They're very tough little seabirds, these little penguins. And some of them might have quite the journey back home. They might have to go up all the way over that hill that we were watching some penguins heading up, where that goose was kind of impeding their way. So yeah, sometimes they just like to stop, have a bit of a socialise, have a rest. Sometimes they, who knows, they might just want to take in the sights. I wish I spoke fluent penguin. I've told you, or Sue and I have told you a couple of penguin phrases from Huck, Huck, Huck. But Sue, how are you with the kind of trill or the bray? Come on, let's go again.
No.
It's tricky. I must spend too much of my time trying to...
I think you practice in front of the mirror, Jordan. Do you?
Don't out me like that, Sue. My goodness, you're embarrassing me on live Penguin TV. I do that. I embarrass myself. I don't blame Sue whatsoever. I definitely deserve it. Alrighty, everyone. I think that's probably our cue to sign off for the night. Probably in the next 15 minutes or so, we will have numbers for how many penguins crossed the beach tonight, but we are going to end the stream and keep you guys coming back and wanting more. So if you're desperate to know how many penguins crossed the beach tonight, please do tune in same time, same place tomorrow. And I think, have we spotted, I think there's a wallaby, another penguin neighbour on the hill. It just looks like a bit of a brown blob at the moment. But I probably won't zoom in on it because with all this rain and being in the dark, I don't know we're going to get a very good view of them. And it's going to get harder to spot these little penguins here as well. So let's maybe jump back to the beach for one last look at the beach and see if we can see if there's any penguins hanging out on the resting rocks. And oh, there's a few penguins on the beach. I was so sure there was going to be nothing, but the penguins are out here surprising us. So I think that's, oh my gosh, look at that rain. I'm so glad we're in here tonight.
I'm so glad we're in here tonight too.
We won the lottery for sure. All right, everyone. I think that is it for tonight. So get your penguin questions and your terrible penguin punny movie titles ready for tomorrow. I'm sure Stephen would love to hear them. Thanks again for that suggestion. Absolutely love it. Anything else I need to say before we finish up, Sue? Hope you can come and see us soon, but if not, keep tuning into Live Penguin TV.
Soon. We'll have everyone back soon.
Yeah.
Got a good feeling about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hang in there. All right, Sue, come on in, and we're going to say goodbye in our penguin language, in the language of the penguins. We're going to say huck, huck. So everybody, thanks for watching. Looking forward to seeing you here in person soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Huck, 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 huck.